This week on Talk of the Town, we dive into spring sports with Athletic Director Clay Chournos. Connie Archibald, with a Citizen's Take, discusses the Midland Square project. As always, we have lots of sports coverage, including girls lacrosse, baseball, and softball. But first, the old Denny's building on the west end of town was demolished to make way for a Jack-in-the-Box.
I've invited today two guests to join me to talk about something exciting that's going on in Tremont. And it happens to be Midland Square. And I know we've kind of touched on it before, but there's some specifics and there's some things that I think it's important for the citizens of Tremont to understand and to be able to grasp. First of all, currently there are events that bring people to downtown. Some of those are Trick and Treat on Main in October. Everyone loves to bring their children, and that's a fun thing that we do. Santa Claus comes to town. That's been happening. The chalk art is kind of new, but wow, what a great event. And of course we have the farmers market. The park, though, really is underutilized at this point. And so there is much thought that this plaza would be so much better if we could use it more as a gathering place and a place of connection. The plan is not to just have it affect the calendar of fun events that we currently have, but it's to promote economic growth and job opportunities for our city. Truly and really, our downtown is struggling, and we need to do what we can to bring people downtown. It is felt that Midland Square needs to move from a park to a plaza. And I agree with that. I've invited our mayor. He's a very humble, hardworking, service-oriented mayor. Loves to get his hands dirty, and he and I have had some conversation about Midland Square, and maybe the mayor, if he could just take a minute and tell us a little bit about the history.
You have to go back to almost back to 1914 when the Midland Hotel was first constructed and built. It was designed, or when they built the Midland Hotel, right after that they had this big gathering, and the whole idea was we need to come up with a name for this building that we just built. And one lady spoke up and she says, I think we need to call it the Midland Hotel. And the reason why I think we need to call it the Midland Hotel is because it's in the center of everything. It's in the center of Tremont, and it's even in the center of the northern Box Elder County. And lots of people come and go, and this is why we call it the Midland Hotel. Well, it stayed a hotel and a big part of Tremont until 1995, when there was a devastating fire that took the building and two other buildings that were neighboring, or two connected buildings to the hotel. They were destroyed by fire. And shortly after that, after the debris was cleared and everything, the family that owned the hotel, they decided that it was time they needed to sell the property, and so they did. They sold the property, but before they did that, there was actually a lot of other people that were interested in it for other reasons. One was a tire store. They wanted to purchase the building to put a tire store over there, and the family decided that, well, no, we want to see it become a town square. So the city ended up buying the property, and not long after that, the beautification committee to design and build a town square, and that's where Midland Square came from. And there's much thanks and for the hard effort and everything that that beautification committee put into putting the square together. As they were going along, they recognized that in northern Box Elder County there was not a place where we recognize veterans who served in the many wars and so forth. That didn't exist in northern Box Elder County. And so the beautification committee recognized that they needed to do something about that. They contacted A.C. Christensen, who was If you if you learn about A.C. Christensen, you understand just how much of a important individual he was in terms of being a veteran. He was he was one of the soldiers who survived the Bataan Death March. He's the one that organized the Veterans Memorial, and the city has supported that Veterans Memorial from its inception. We've partnered with the veterans from the beginning, and so we've worked together. Over the years, we've helped the veterans keep the memorial up to date with new names. We have replaced the names when they became weather worn at a significant cost. We put the Candy Bomber mural just west of the memorial, and so that we've supported them from the beginning. It's important to note that the square belongs to Tremont City, though. I know there's been some talk about it belonging to the veterans. We support the veterans. We love the veterans, but the actual property does belong to the city. What we want to do is we want to be able to create a gathering place, and a catalyst for the economic revitalization of the downtown area, which is suffering right now. And there's been studies after studies conducted by the councils over many years, all the way back to 1988, where over and over again it's recognized that something has to be done about Main Street. Now that we have the grant, we have the funding, we have the ability now to finally do something about revitalizing the downtown area, and a big part of that is Midland Square.
Also, I've invited Tamara Holmgren to join us to talk about Midland Square. Tamara has been on the beautification committee from the very beginning. I would introduce Tamara as an individual that loves art. She's an artist and been in education in her life, but Tamara has a story to tell. I'd like to invite Tamara to just talk a little bit about the beginnings of Midland Square and the spirit of which brought that committee together, and how that ties into the memorial. So Tamara, thank you for being here.
I want to refer back to the original committee. And we started this back in about 2001 when we decided that there needed to be something there for us to have as a square. Colleen Johnson ended up being the committee chair. Myself, Vaughn Rhodes, and Carol Rhodes were Steve Atwood, Bill Hall, Maureen Rollins. So we were a committee that met. There were a lot of things that we went through when trying to decide what it was that we were to have done. We invited A.C. Christensen, who actually was a prisoner of war, and he came to our committees, and he was very, very supportive that in this square we have an area where the veterans would be honored. And he took that himself to be over that area. And he did lots of calling, lots of people involved in that. And we have to recognize the amount of work that went into creating that area where we honor the veterans. That was a very major part. And so the rest of the square, we knew that it would be an area where we could gather and we could have events there.
There were many citizens that stepped up and stepped forward and wanted to help in this wonderful new Midland Square. Tell us about those individuals that donated, and how are they recognized today?
We put the call out for people who could have their name put on a brick. And the bricks then they were put into an area right in front of the clock tower where they were honored for the amount of money that they donated. And as I understand, we possibly will be revitalizing them because some of those names have kind of been worn down. And we want to recognize those people who did that. They were very anxious to dedicate and to offer some money for that.
Now, is it also true that there were citizens who came forward with monies to purchase benches or trees
absolutely.
or, you know,
Yes.
just expound on those individuals are important today. They're important
Absolutely.
today. And we are so grateful for what they offer. But tell us a little bit about what people brought forward.
When we approached the city, of course, you know, there's a limitation in how much the city could do, how much any grants we could do, and we realized, of course, that there had to be more money brought in. And as we offered out to the people who were anxious to have this whole square come together, they were more than willing, from a small amount to a great amount. They didn't want us to recognize them as to how much they gave, just but that they gave. And the trees, the benches, everything. People were more than happy to offer their services, even time, money and time, and work after to put everything together. So without everybody doing that, this would not have come together.
I think that Tamara's right. We live in a great community.
Absolutely.
And that remains the same today. But let's talk about money for just a few minutes. Obviously, we have received a grant. This grant, there's a purpose of which we're to use this grant money. And Mayor, can you tell us a little bit about this grant money and what will need to be added to that grant money in order for us to accomplish some of the things that we need to do? If you just share with us a little bit about that grant money.
Sure. Shortly after I became mayor, I was approached by the Governor's Office of Economic Opportunity, and they suggested that we apply for a grant, Rural Communities Opportunity Grant, designed for smaller rural communities to help them to revitalize their communities. The grant was specifically for economic development. Okay, it wasn't for, it was specifically for that purpose. We applied for the grant, and the grant was enthusiastically accepted by the board, by the Rural Communities Opportunity Grant people, and they awarded us $405,000 for the purpose of revitalizing Midland Square. That's the reason why we have the grant. It isn't we can't take that money now and use it somewhere else if we wanted to. We can't. We have it specifically for this purpose. Along with that, over time, we have been collecting money in the Main Street RDA, Rural Development Agency, that we have in the city. And that money has been collected, and it is earmarked specifically for Main Street. So what we hope to be able to do is take a portion of that money and combined with the money from the grant, and with that, revitalize Midland Square. Now, that's just the first step. It isn't that we're just going to do that and call it good. We want to be able to do something about, revitalizing the old historic downtown area with facade grants or with lighting and all of the things that would kind of modernize downtown and make it something more attractive and more appealing for people to come in and set up shop and for people to come in and shop.
Back in 2001, there were those that contributed a great deal and loved Tremont so much they wanted to be a part of this movement. But there are others that want to contribute. And one of those contributors that has stepped forward and said, please let us be a part of this, is Volcraft, Nucor. Mayor, tell us a little bit about what Volcraft would like to offer.
Part of the plan is that the clock tower is sort of oddly proportioned and sort of blocking the entrance into the square. The idea was to move that clock tower to another place in the town, and we don't want to, get rid of it, but we want to move it somewhere else. But in its place, what we want to do is we want to create some gateways into Midland Square. These would be large metal arches. If you've seen the arches at the fairgrounds, something similar to that idea, that concept. But Volcraft and Nucor have been they're great partners, and they have contributed enormous amounts of money to our community. That'll open up the square, make it more accessible, more noticeable, more inviting, that kind of thing. So that's kind of where we are very appreciative of Nucor and Volcraft for their support.
Recently, the beautification committee met, and they talked about the possibility of making some changes to Midland Square to make it better. And as that committee met, Tamara, can you share some of their feelings about these improvements?
Colleen Johnson, who was the committee chair, has been very, very vocal about her feelings of the square. She and I both. We love Tremonton. We love the people in Tremonton. Tremonton's been our home for our whole life. And yes, you can become attached to some things, but when you see something that has been great, but you can make it greater, then why not? Why not? And as far as the committee is concerned, they are all saying they're supportive of the improvement to the square, that it can be used and utilized more, especially when we first put it together and we put that grass in at a little bit higher level. That was probably something that we didn't really think about in the long term. Because we haven't been able to utilize that. The kids play on it, that's fine. But as far as using it and putting things there, it's at a disadvantage where it's kind of a slope. So when we saw the plans for the square to take that down to a level, much better. We were very happy that and we did our best at that time. But you can always improve on great.
There's several things that we can do, and as we get input from the community and everything, we'll make adjustments and do what we need to do to make our town better.
The City Council of Tremonton really does want our input. They value it. City public comments section of our City Council meetings are valuable. They are a blessing to the council. And so we're grateful for those people who have stepped forward and who have offered their feelings about this change. At a later date, I'd really like to pull some individuals that have offered some great insight. Obviously, the veterans were at our meeting on February 20th. They offered some valuable insights. I'd really like to have those individuals, some of those, join us on Talk of the Town. And come and in a dignified manner state some of those things that they're most passionate about. There is that part in our Midland Square that is set aside just for veterans. It's a special spot. I've brought my family there many times. I invite you to bring your family there. But Mayor, can you tell us a little bit as you listen to veterans, and he has had an open listening ear. Tell us what you're hearing.
It's a little bit, I guess, sad to me that, that somehow the word has got out there that Tremonton City doesn't support or is not trying to respect the veterans and the Veterans Memorial. I feel like there couldn't be anything further from the truth. I know as I've listened to some of the concerns and everything, the veterans feel like, that this is the very respectable place. I think some of them have even called it a hallowed place. It is a very respectable place, but it is also a memorial, and it's also a remembrance. And we want people there. We want people to go see it. I imagine, young people going there and looking for their uncles on the nameplates, or their grandfather, or some other relative that they have, and seeing that they served their country. I can see opportunities for school children to come and listen to the veterans explain why it is so important for us to remember the service that they and the sacrifice that they offered for our country. I also feel like service to our community is important, and we need to do what we can do to make our community better. This is one way I feel like this is something we can do. We have the resources now to do it. This is something we can do to make this better for all of us.
In conclusion, I think it's important for us to just imagine if we wanted to revitalize our Main Street and make for an economic boom to happen in Tremont on our Main Street, I think it's important for us to recognize that people need to come there. And so I think our goal at this point is to have, if we could have 250 people come to downtown over 100 days time on a regular basis, this would revitalize, this would really help us, our Main Street, to go the direction that we want it to go. If you were to come to the city offices, there is a concept plan of Midland Square. That is a Cadillac version. And as we look at how much money we have, we're going to need to scale it down. We're going to need to decide what's the most important thing as we go forward. At our city council meeting, this is the time when people can come and learn what's going on in Tremont City, and that's where I learn what's going on in Tremont City, is to attend Tremont City meetings, and they all have so much value, and we can all be a positive part of moving Tremont into a better place as we contribute, as we understand really what's going on in Tremont. So I invite you to be positive and be a part of the good as we go forward and make this town a place that is better. We want to be improving all the time, and it requires that we change a few things along the way.
The Business Spotlight segment of Talk of the Town is made possible by supportive sponsors who allow Bear River Live to feature community stories and all the good that is happening every day in our county.
It's not as bad as last year. I can't complain too much, because last year at this time I think I was on a tractor with a blade on the front of it pushing 3 feet of snow off the turf out there and piling it up 20 feet high, and it never did melt till May. So
yeah, I went back to see the first lacrosse game that we broadcasted, and there's piles of snow all around the field.
Yeah. They were there until literally probably the end of April. I mean, just crazy. And we made it work. It was awesome. It was fun to see all the teams come together and help and make sure that everybody had an opportunity to do their stuff. I don't think we lost. I think we may have lost one softball game as far as not being able to reschedule and get it in, which is just crazy to me with as much snow as we had. So, and that's credit to all the kids that came out and helped, and all the parents that helped, and Paul and his crew out there doing their thing. And then it was kind of fun last year, the box elder game. I remember we were out there in the lacrosse box elder game. They would call timeout about every 5 minutes. We'd go out and plow lines so we could see where we were out on the field because it was snowing so hard. And those are things you remember a little bit, but I don't want to do that again this year. So I'm hoping that the snow will hold off. Right now we're clear. Everybody's clear. We need a couple of days of warm weather to get everything so it's not so soggy. But I think we're not too far from that. So anyway.
Well, lacrosse is going to kick us off first.
They're our first match at home, boys lacrosse, and then
new head coach.
Yeah. Tyson Rogers was an assistant last year, and has done a phenomenal job of getting his team ready this off season. I've been very impressed with the way that he approaches discipline and organization within his program, and making sure his kids do the right things at the right times for the right reasons. And he's been great to work with. So I'm excited to see what him and his crew can do this year. I really look forward to that. I don't know where we're going to be Athletic-wise, it's a little bit of a crapshoot because we did lose quite a few seniors last year.
You lose the leading scorer.
Yeah. When you lose a guy that's your number one, in the region scoring, and that's tough to replace. And you probably do that via committee. And so that's something that they'll work on. I wish I knew more about like how lacrosse works. I just know you score more goals, win. That's what I know. But it is fun to watch. I will tell you, lacrosse is a fun game to watch, and I'm learning more about it as we go. And those kids compete. They get out there. They got to be the toughest sport for outdoor sports that we have. I mean, them and girls lacrosse and soccer, they're always outside, whether it's raining cats and dogs or if it's minus 40 or whatever. But, they're always out turning the lights on at 9 o'clock at night when it's minus 20 degrees. I'm like, you guys are nuts. But, they get out there and get after it. So you got to give them credit for that. And new coach for softball. We replaced Coach Bingham, who was 20-year, obviously just unbelievable run with state titles and playing in state championship games and racking up W's for the Lady Bears. And so, Jordan Tyre is the new head coach for softball, and she has done some really fun things with the softball team that are new and innovative, and the girls seem to really, really enjoy her approach to the game. And I think she's going to bring a lot of different expertise to the game. And she's gonna approach it differently. Coach Bingham had a great system, and it worked for him. And I think she's got a great system as well. And it might take time to work that in. But our girls are prepared. They're excited, and it'll be fun. We start those games this weekend. It'll be fun to see her. She has a whole new staff. There's not a coach on staff that was coached last year. And I think that will be a great situation as they move forward. The nice part about Jordan is she's all about honoring the past and looking forward to the future. So she's got a lot of fun stuff planned for the year, including some naming the field and bringing some people back to honor them and do some other stuff that way. So it should be a lot of fun. She's doing some really fun and innovative things. So Coach Curtis is a second-year track coach. And doing a great job, but has just been great to work with. I've really appreciated his effort and all the things that he does for our track team. I don't think people realize how much goes into that. They think we just show up and run, right? And probably in essence that's what you do, but there's so much more that goes into it. There's a lot of technique in running. Yeah, well, and just organizing it, right? I mean, like we have 80 track kids, like so. That's hard to make sure everybody gets into so many events and so many relays and so many throwing events and all that stuff. And he has a great staff, and I thought we did a great job last year of getting that working for the first year as a coach, and I think he'll just continue to pick that up from where he left off last year. Then we have 9 spring sports. It's kind of crazy. Brand new this year is boys volleyball. So that will be interesting to see what happens there. We were actually able to get enough kids out that we have a varsity and a JV team, which we weren't sure we were going to be able to do both. We had really just planned on a varsity team, but we'll have a varsity JV team this year. So Coach Brown will be in charge of those kids. And I walked in the gym 2 or 3 times, and they're having a blast. So I don't know how good we will be, but it'll be fun to see us put together a team and go out and compete a little bit and have those kids be involved. And we try to get as many sports as we can. Obviously it's sanctioned, but the school has the opportunity to say whether or not they're actually going to have a team, whether it's sanctioned or not. We don't have to have that team. Technically, she's a first-year coach for boys, right? Because it's the first year we have them. Then you got, let's see, what else we got? Tennis. So we got boys tennis. And so Coach Shaw will be returning as our second-year head tennis coach. I told him he had no choice this year.
A little bit more seasoned.
Yeah. He knows lots more technique this year. But no, he was able to get a couple other assistants that know quite a bit about tennis and are really, really excited to go out and help our kids. So that's always a good thing. Our tennis team, they go out and do the best that they can. They compete and they have a great time. And it's always fun to go out and watch tennis because they're just having a good time all the time. Those kids smile and having a blast, and I think Coach Shaw does a great job of helping that environment. And Coach Sandal's one of the assistant coaches this year, and I think he'll bring a lot of tennis savvy out there, and I think you'll see some kids get a lot better technically with that. So look forward to that. Baseball, obviously, Coach Haas returns this year. A pretty good team from last year that might be better than last year. We'll see. We'll see. Early we play. I think our first 4 games we play 3 of the top 5 teams in state in their division. So we'll get tested pretty good early, which is okay. The nice part about it is he got outside at least 2 days, which almost never happens. But he got outside for a couple of days this year. So our kids will at least have seen a ball outside before we go down to St. George. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, returns some really, really good kids. You got 2 kids, Deegan Rigby and Garrick Marble, that have already signed at colleges, one at CSI and one at Slick. So, those kids are obviously really talented, but you've got 4 seniors on the team this year that are all really talented, and then you got a good group of juniors and sophomores that are going to come in. And I was talking to Coach Haas the other day. He's like, we're going to play a lot of kids to get wins when we need to, and he says we're going to have to rely on young kids at times and seasoned kids at times, and each one's going to come in with their own set of skills, and they're going to have to get after it, and we're going to have to put them in positions to help them win. So yeah, that'll be fun to watch. It was interesting because we went through a bit of a up and down with winter workouts, because right before about 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, Deegan Rigby we're in a little bit of a indoor scrimmage and takes a ball off the face and breaks his face in 5 places.
No.
And we thought we honestly at the time we're like he may not play this year. It was that scary, and he's just one tough dude. He was like, nope, I'm getting surgery, and he said, Doc, when am I cleared to play? And the doctor said, well, as soon as it doesn't hurt, basically. And he said, okay, that's tomorrow. And so literally he was back in doing optional workouts within probably 4 or 5 days. And obviously Coach Haas is going to take things a little bit slower than he wanted to as far as that goes. But I think he's back fairly close to 100%. So you got.
Saw him at media day. Looks
yeah.
fine.
If you didn't really know, a couple days after, or maybe for a week after, he had the little red in his eye, but that was pretty much the only thing you could see.
Yeah, he did keep his hat kind of low.
Yeah. I told him, I kind of joked with him. I said, we need to go get you one of those like Bane face masks that you can go out and be on the mound and in that Bane face mask. He's already 6'3" and pretty big dude throwing 90 miles an hour. Get the face mask out there. That's got to be intimidating. But he didn't want to wear the face mask, so I don't blame him. Could have had like a Jason face mask too, right? That's gotta
there
be.
you go.
So anyway, I think baseball's got a chance to be really good, and our region for baseball is really good. There, Ridgeline started 4 freshmen last year, and they'll be back. They'll start again, and I know Mountain Crest will start 2 freshmen, I think this year, and then a team that was really pretty good last year comes. About 50% of those kids will come back, so those 2 will be tough in our region. And you never know about Skyview and Green Canyon; they're kind of a little bit wild cards. But got good coaches, and you're gonna have to compete with them. And Logan's been a little bit down, but they got a new coach as well, and so you never know what you're gonna get with them. The coach that they brought in, I think will do a really good job. I remember he was there at Logan quite a while ago, and then came back. So yeah, those will be some good matchups that way.
You got Marble and Rigby, they're going to the next level. You've got Bella Douglas.
Yeah, I forgot. I should. Wow, I don't know how I forgot that.
Not ink to paper, but she
right.
got it on her letterman
She's a junior.
jacket.
That's probably why I forgot that. But yeah, pretty big deal with Bella. Obviously, she's going to a Big Ten school in Purdue. That's big time. Like you said, not inked, but verbaled yet, and I'm sure that'll happen. She can't sign the papers yet. There, she would have, right? Obviously, she's a junior, so they have to wait for a certain amount of time for that. But yeah, no, that's pretty amazing for a girl from Bear River High School to be signing at a D1 school and in the Big Ten. That's pretty impressive. So yeah, Bella, yeah, like I said, she's not a senior, so I still think that we got her for 2 years. So I don't want to kick her out very, very fast.
Lady Bears lacrosse.
Lacrosse, back-to-back state champs.
Going for a three-peat.
Yeah, really. Lost 1 game in 2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. So big shoes to fill. Nothing big, right? No. They got a good group this year too. They got a lot of kids back. They lost a couple of really, really obviously good players and some kids that went on and played lacrosse at the next level. And so they'll miss some of those kids, but I think they have.
Yeah, you lose your leading scorer in that one too.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Leading scorer.
Same as the boys.
Yeah. And they've got some young kids that are going to have to step up and really play maybe a different brand of lacrosse just a little bit for them, because they were so used to just that. It was sort of like the Globetrotters, right? Like they're just going to score 1 million points on you, and I think this year they may focus a little bit more on playing defense as well as offense, and maybe less scoring. But I don't know. We'll see. They've still got people that can flat out play the game.
Yeah.
And they're just really talented speed wise. That's the one thing that kind of sets us apart just a little bit from everybody else that plays the sport, is our speed up and down our lineup is really good. And they do a good job of utilizing that. Coach Webb does a phenomenal job with his girls, getting them ready and playing to their strengths, and making sure that we're ready to play teams. Again, a guy that's super organized, does things the right way, expects his girls to be competitors in the right manner and that kind of stuff. And those are things that we want out of our athletics. And so that's shown up in W's for them the last couple of years. And I don't expect that to be too much different this year. Obviously we don't, state championships aren't an expectation. They can't be, because they're so hard to win. They just are. Everything has to go right, and you can't have any injuries and all that stuff. But they've set that expectation for themselves, and I think they'll come out and they'll compete pretty hard for that. So it'll be fun to watch what they can do.
Bigger classification, does it hurt you or help you?
I don't know. Well, we'll see. Last year with there were some other teams like Waterford and that are sort of like private school teams that you never really see when in our region kind of stuff. So I don't know what it'll be this year, especially with all the St. George teams now having boys and girls lacrosse. They'll add teams to that. So it'll be interesting to see what that does to whether, being in a bigger classification as far as numbers wise goes. I don't know if it'll water it down more or if it'll add more competition to that. It'll just kind of we'll have to see how that plays out. Yeah.
You also got another girl signing.
Yeah,
on girls lacrosse.
Josephine Tanner, and she told me where she signed to, and I believe it's in North Dakota, but I don't remember 100% the name of the school.
And I thought Wisconsin.
You are right. It is Wisconsin. It is. You are correct.
I should know. She's my
yes.
niece.
Okay.
But I don't.
You are no. You're 100% right. I think it's not Wisconsin University. I think it's the University of Wisconsin. So it's a little bit. It's not the Badgers. It's a different school up there, but yeah, you're right. It is in Wisconsin, so that's a pretty big deal too. That's some good lacrosse up there. They take lacrosse pretty seriously, and up in that area.
They got like our football stadiums are there.
Exactly. So it's kind of fun to see that some of our kids are getting seen and being able to go to some bigger places. That's pretty cool. So that's something that I look forward to watching her this year, and then being able to. I always try to see if we can't catch all the kids that go on to play at the next level. We try to make sure we see how they're doing, and right now we got 3 or 4 that are playing this spring, so that'll be fun to try to catch a few of those. Yeah. Girls golf, you've got Coach Thomas and his crew. Golf is always a wild card when it comes to, are they going to be able to get out on the course, and what's it going to look like and all that stuff. So I know they were able to get out into the clubhouse the other day, he told me, and do some driving and do some other things to help them.
They got the virtual thing in there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So that makes things a lot nicer. I mean, obviously they use the Bear Center to hit balls into nets as well, but the simulator is a little bit different because they get to kind of see, okay, what happened, what kind of spin did it have, and was it a fade, was it a hook, and that kind of stuff, which you don't get that in the indoor facility. So I think that's helped them a lot out there. And Coach Thomas he is the quintessential girls coach in just the fact he is so patient and just so positive and goes out and is really, really good with those girls and they do a good job of responding to what he tells them to do, and they listen really well, and they should have a pretty good team this year. You got quite a few girls that finished high in region last year and coming back, and so they should do pretty well. And it'll be interesting to see what it looks like outside, for them. Sometimes you get pushed back on that, and then they end up having 5 meets in 1 week, and sometimes that's a little more difficult to navigate. But it'll be interesting to see how well they do. Again, pretty tough region. I think we have 16 girls, if I remember right, somewhere around that. And we'll play against teams that have 30, double our number, but we'll still compete, and that's kind of fun to go watch. And nice part about golf is if you hit the ball right, then you put it next to the hole, and if your score is better than somebody else's, that's how it is, and so you kind of control a lot more than some other sports. But yeah, that'll be fun to see that too. So then you got boys soccer.
Another shortened schedule.
Yeah, and the one thing that I can say about that is not because of our team. Our team's really pretty good about that. We did have
the one game. We got like seven yellows,
and
2 reds all in one game.
Yeah, that was a little bit of an abnormality, right? Because I think that's
that was
the first time
fueled from the
happened.
game before, though.
I think so. Yeah, and the one thing that I can say about some of that too is red cards are hard in soccer because it's not like basketball where you can get one technical, right, and not get tossed. In soccer, you get a red card, you're done. And you can get a red card for something like a handball inside of the penalty box. It's inadvertent, but it doesn't matter. So it's not intentional, it's not aggressive, it's not somebody being a jerk or whatever. It's just the ball hits their hand and they're out.
Yeah.
And so the state's kind of looking into that a little bit more and trying to separate those types of red cards versus the verbal red cards where you're just inappropriate, or that it's an aggressive physical thing, from minor things where you get 2 yellows equals a red, that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah.
But I thought our squad last year competed really well, and it'll be interesting. He's got a kind of a brand new squad this year. You won't see too many familiar faces out there, I don't think, that were from the teams from the last couple of years. So it'll be interesting to see what we're able to put out and what kind of offense we'll be able to run and defense we'll be able to play. And hopefully Coach Miller will be able to get them ready to play and ready to compete. And that's really what we ask them to do. Go out and compete, go out and represent Bear River High School and see what you can do. And you know what? Sometimes you're going to come up against teams, like our girls basketball team did this year, and just not physically going to match up real well. But you go compete anyway and see where the chips fall, and that's why you play the game. So yeah, but yeah, I think there's only 14 total soccer games this year. So we have quite a few at home, so that'll be good to get a lot of those at our place and play on the turf and be fun.
You think adding this boys volleyball, did that pull from other sports? Or?
A little bit, yes. I mean, yeah. When you look at the kids that are playing, yeah, most of those kids were doing something else. Not all of them, but most of those kids were doing something, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I think that's okay, because if whatever they were doing, they either wanted a break, wanted to change, wanted to do something different. Now they have an opportunity to do that, and another sport to go out and have some fun with that. I don't think it's impacted negatively any of our other sports, in the fact that you're not missing main guys or girls that would have been a linchpin in something else. But some of those kids that maybe still could have contributed in whatever sport that they were in, but maybe they'll be a starter on the volleyball team, and I think that's great for them. I think that's an opportunity for a kid to go out and have fun and feel like they're a valuable part of a team. And I think anytime you can do that, that's a win for us. So I honestly, 9 sports in the springtime is too many. I think it does thin us out a lot. Mm-hmm. So the state's looking at a few things. I think honestly, in my opinion, it's a no-brainer to put tennis in the fall. and go boys and girls tennis at either the same night, opposite site, or even possibly same night, same site, depending on what you've got, how many kids you've got.
Yeah.
To me, that's a little bit of a no-brainer. And then they're looking at possibly moving volleyball to the fall, possibly moving girls golf to the fall, again, so that it's girls golf with boys golf. So there's some things in the work. It's going to take a couple years to sort that out, but they really do need to do something about 9 sports in the springtime is really, really difficult. It puts a lot of pressure on administration. It puts a lot of pressure on busing. When you have 9 sports that all need a bus, that's difficult to do. You look at Cache Valley in the springtime, literally they say, if we're in the valley, you drive. We don't have a bus. You're in charge of getting there. They only take buses if they're outside of Cache Valley. I give our bus drivers a ton of credit. We almost never have to go without because we don't have a bus. Our bus, Jason Sparks at the bus garage does a fantastic job, and Nicole Hess does a fantastic job. My secretary, Darcy Stark, does a fantastic job of making sure that all the buses are ready to go, and when we need to change, they very, very rarely tell us no. And so we appreciate that, because we know if we have to move games that they're going to do everything they can do to get us where we need to go. So they keep us running. So thanks to the bus drivers too for saying yes when they probably don't really want to. They had when it rains, they get called off late, and all of a sudden you reschedule it for the next day, and they do a great job just saying, sure, get on the bus and let's get you there. So
definitely a team effort all the way around.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You got a new school coming up next fall, Westfield.
Yeah, Westfield. So Westfield will open up next fall, and they will be in our region next year. So we'll add 1 team to our region for 1 year. I don't think they'll be in there after that. They'll be too big. They'll move up to 5A, but the first year they'll be right around 1,100 students.
Because they're going to pull from Roy and Fremont.
Correct, and a little bit of Weber. Not a lot of Weber, but there's like a little portion that some of those kids can come down into. So yeah, and they'll be good. They obviously that's a fairly decent hotbed of athletes that go to all those schools, and they're going to be pulling from all those schools. So I need to give a shout out to our robotics team too. For the at least 5 years that I've been here, and I think at least 2 more years before that, we have teams that have qualified for Worlds, which is kind of unbelievable. You're looking at one of the small schools in the state that consistently put teams out there that compete for state titles and go to Worlds and compete really well in the Worlds competition. That's phenomenal. Mr. Ritchie is our advisor over that, and Mr. Jensen, and they do just an absolutely fantastic job with those kids. And you won't find harder workers. I don't care what I don't care what sport. You won't find harder workers than our robotics team. They live in that place, literally. Like you'll come back at 10 o'clock at night. I'll leave to go home, and the light's still on. I'll go peek my head in and say, "What are you guys doing?" Like, we got to tweak this. Got to get this code out of there. I'm like, "Well, how long are you going to be?" I don't know. As long as it takes. They're just there all the time.
Yeah, because we cleaned up after a basketball game, and we stay here even longer than you do. And we went out there, and they were still out there.
Yeah, they're phenomenal. I love it. It's such a different feel with those guys. They compete, right? They're competing with other teams. I don't know. It's just different. They have a very, very different culture than maybe some athletic teams do, in the fact that they're rooting for as many kids as can to do as well as they can, even when you're competing with or against. And they have and it's set up that way, the way that their games are set up. They have alliances with other people, so there's always 2 teams competing together against 2 other teams, and you never know who those 2 teams are going to be. They just throw you together based on some algorithm. I don't know. People much smarter than me figure that out, but and then at the end, depending on where you stand in all your preseason or pre-tournament matches, then they'll seed you into the tournament, and you get to pick what they call an alliance partner. So if you're the number 1 seed, you get to pick whoever else you want to pair with to be your partner. And so it's always good to be up on the top end, because you get to pick, whoever you think is the next best team. And so then you kind of become a little bit of dominant force when it comes to that. And our kids are always in the top 2 or 3, always. So they just seem to always, and a lot of times we'll have 3 in the top 4. There's been several tournaments that we went to this year where we had 3 teams in the semifinals. So we're competing against each other in a semifinal match to see who goes. And like I said, we haven't had our state. We had our state middle school tournament, and our middle school team won the state middle school tournament, so they got an automatic bid to Worlds as a middle school team. And then you have another team in our school that got an automatic qualifying bid. They have tournaments there. They call them AQ tournaments, so that if you place at a certain level at those or get certain cuts, then you get an automatic bid to the Worlds, and then the World I think we only get 4 tickets to the Worlds competition in the state, the whole state. It doesn't matter what level you are. And so if you AQ for one of those, then there's 4 other teams that can still go. So the automatic qualifier doesn't count against our 4. And so we're hoping to. They have their state tournament coming up very soon. We're hoping to place 2 more teams. So 3 out of our 5 teams could go to Worlds, which is a big deal. It really is. People don't realize that. But when they say Worlds, I've been twice now. It's Worlds. Like they rent a convention center in Dallas that's probably 3 times the old Salt Lake City Convention Center, the Salt Palace. Yeah, and the entire thing is just one gigantic party with that many, with hundreds of teams, literally hundreds of boards that they play on, and you could have a team that's competing on one end of the building, and another team that's competing clear over here on another end, and there's probably 50 different game boards in between there, and it's all up on big screens, and they're competing against teams from literally China and Singapore and Europe and all over the place, and pretty much every state in the union. It's pretty amazing. It really is. And our kids more than hold their own. In fact, 2 years ago, we had the equivalent of a national champion with them. There's an award called the Excellence Award, and our kids won that. It's basically winning a national title on the world stage. So pretty awesome for
that is awesome.
A team from Bear River High School, right? It's still like, I realize we have Northrop Grumman and some other places out here, but that we're more of an ag school, right? Like that's what we're known for a little bit, and to have our robotics team do that well is phenomenal for us. Yeah.
Another thing that's cool, not sanctioned yet.
Yeah.
You got esports.
Esports should come in next. They haven't voted on it yet that I know of, but I'm pretty sure it'll go through. And we have actually a really good esports team. Our esports team went down to state this year in an unsanctioned event and did really well. It's kind of interesting. It's a different idea. It's a lot of Mario Kart, and there's another. I can't remember there's another game they play. It's a little bit different, but it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch those kids go out and do what they enjoy. And who to thunk it? You actually can get college scholarships to be on an esports team in college as well. So. We have some good kids in that, and it'll be interesting to see next year. I actually think that if our club stays together and the same kids come back and do and compete like they did this last year, we'll have a chance to be pretty good.
Yeah, you're gonna have some people say, "Man, I was just born in the wrong
decade." Yeah. That's what you got to do, and they put a lot of time in too. They do a lot of practice. They're here every day after school. Everybody's, it's video games. Well, you guys still got to be pretty good.
Yeah, you're still skilled.
Yeah, exactly. You got to practice a lot. So. Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yep.
Spring sports. That's a lot.
Here we go.
The drive inside. There's a shot in the first goal here for the season. Back behind the cage. Adams with a good cut and a good shot. There's going to be goal number 2 here for the Lady Bear. We're going to back into play. Here's a little dump shot that goes in. First goal for number 32 is Sadie Pearson. Good find here for Wilkinson, and she'll net her first one of the ball game. Riley, she's going to work it in into the middle, sends a shot blocked away, and get a whistle. Bethany with a shot inside, bounces this one in. Back. Drive inside, there's a shot blocked by Smart. Mickelson trying to make a move here to the middle. Gets it at the buzzer. Almost. Good pass here, Rose with a shot and her second goal of the game. Make a move to the inside and get another goal. Good pass over Larkin in the middle. Here's a shot and another goal over Jason. Looking back. Good pass here to the middle. Kirstead gets her first goal. Quick look inside, another shot and another goal here from Mackenzie Mickelson. Back up top here for Bear River. Quick pass into the middle, another quick shot, another goal. Slows it up. Good fake out move, inside, back, outside. There's a shot, nice block. Gets to the goal. Mickelson now moves to the middle. Here's a shot and another goal. Joey pass over to the middle. Here's a shot. There's another goal. JC Larkin this time. Edge with it. Good pass here to the middle and Cummings. That's when it works it back again. Pass inside. There's a shot and Shelby Wilkinson. Again, there's a good pass inside. Another shot here for Cummings.
They did really well tonight. They played a lot of really selfless ball. I think I haven't actually looked at stats, but I bet you over half of our goals came off on an assist tonight. So that's an amazing feat with a new group of girls that playing for their first game together as a unit.
And Mickelson came on fire as a good senior leader, 6 goals, but you had 8 Bears score tonight. Tell me a little bit about the offensive side.
It's the same thing you see every year, like I try. Everybody asks what's the secret to the success, but really there is no secret. You just expect the girls that are open to make the catch. You expect every girl to make the pass, and all of our girls buy in, and it seems to work for us.
And you had strong defensive play, even an opportunity to get both your goalies in tonight. How did they do?
Our goalies played amazing. Brian Wise coming in for her very first game today. She started off in the JV side and pitched a shutout. She let a couple go in, but you know what? She got a couple good little saves. Tristan made a couple of really amazing saves tonight. So, I think it's a really good tandem of goalies that we got coming in this year.
Mickelson, so you're a senior this year. You were a good leader on the team last year, but you've really stepped it up tonight in your season opener. How's that feel?
It feels really great to be back on the field with my team. I just love these girls so much, and it just feels like so exhilarating being here right now.
And so how do you feel your team chemistry helps you guys to compete in the way you do and continue to do that year after year?
I think a really important part of playing well together is knowing each other and trusting each other. If you don't trust off the field, how are you supposed to trust each other on the field? So I just feel like when we all love and really understand each other off the field, it really helps us when we're in the game,
And so you ended up getting a hat trick in that first half, but you didn't end there. You're like, let's just end with 2 hat tricks. How's that feel to get 6 goals in your first game?
It feels really good. I just love lacrosse and I love to be out here. So yeah, it feels good.
Rigby offers up the first pitch, and this one's going to be chopped back over to the first base line and out number 1. This one will launch out the center. It will get down. 0 in the top of the second. This one sent back over to Garrett Marvel. This one back over. This one sent back over to Potter. Up off the dirt again. Chopper. The good left. Sent over to Marvel for out. Number 2. Throw back. Chopper. Back over the good left. Up off the ground. And got him out at first. Straightens this one out to center field. They're going to run it in. Goes bunt. That's a strike. Oh, and a pickle. Got him out there. Group it back over. Here to Rigby. To Marvel. Gets the Classic preschool this one. Back out over to Potter and number 3. Marvel.
I think our home opener was nice. It was cold out here. It feels really good. I thought our team battled really well today. Fought through some adversity. The big fella right here just kept throwing strikes and kept us in the ball game. That's all we ever asked, and he did a phenomenal job.
And so you guys were eager to be able to play on home today. Tell me what it took to get the field ready.
Quite a bit. I mean, we tarped it. We had a lot of rain, snow on there. You can see down the right field line there was ice on the field, so we got that off. And then I'm lucky to know a guy, Cam Toon at Dura Edge, and his crew came out and helped us get the field ready and prepped it. And Chan Chair helped us roll it today. So Dylan Marble, former player, man, shout out to you. You're awesome.
And you guys had a little bit of a slow start, got down 2-0 kind of early. What was the momentum shift? How were you guys able to pull that out?
I think we made an adjustment at the plate offensively. Instead of trying to pull the ball to the left field, we kind of just sat back and we were who we are, right? Just driving the baseball up the middle the other way and did a really good job. And I think, Deegan pitched a heck of a ball game. And for him to do that, I know we all know that we have a chance every time he's on the bump. And he just kept it. He just kept being himself, settled right in, and then it just gave us that little extra boost that we needed that just gave us the time to get our offense rolling. Hopefully we can continue to ride this momentum and swing it, put up a few more runs. We like to have a little more than 4, but we'll take wins and runs when we can get them.
You're going to be our real player of the game tonight for your efforts. How did it feel to get back out on that mound and be able to lead your team to victory?
Oh, it was awesome. Love being on Bearfield. Love our mound. Love the camaraderie we have with our fans and everyone supporting us. Had some great team behind me, team I can trust.
So you threw in some great strikes, got some strikeouts today, but you mentioned the team behind you. Tell me some of the efforts that it took to ensure the win today.
We had some great plays. Talon just to end of the game. That's a phenomenal play, hard hit ball, gets around it, makes the play. Easton at third had a bunch of good plays. He's always solid over there. We had great defense behind us.
And so you guys got down early. Was there any kind of disappointment or struggle, or were you guys just confident the whole time?
We're never out of a fight. We've been taught that. Our coaches do a really good job at enforcing that. We're never out of a fight. We always play hard, clear to the end. Don't play the scoreboard. Just play us. Do us.
Summer's ready to see another pitch. This one hit on grounder. Over to short. Over to Marble. Frown. Still 2-2 Camp. Summers. Another one popped up high. Not going to leave the infield. There's got it surrounded. Old Potter puts it away. There's a little chopper. Shortstop. Leaves it in the dirt. Runner's going to go. Talon gets down. Slide safe. Home. You got Garrett now on third, and he's going to take off home. This one not as close. Keeps alone. Stop. A little bit of trouble with it again. The throw. Not in. This one popped right back over to Colton. Jogs it over and tosses it back over to Marvel for out number 1. Strings this one out. Center field. Tracking it. Holden Potter. Spence puts this one up and over Brigham. Trying to backhand it, but it's going to end up in the grass.
That's a good job right there.
Straightens this one out. That's going to get through. Runners go around.
That's a good job right there.
Left field.
Yeah, going to get over. Actually looks like he's going to have to.
Inside Goodluff's going to take third. And safe. Deegan Rigby.
Good job by Deegan.
Waste any time. Over to center field. Be up. Sends this one down the line. Good lift. Sends it over to Marvel. Gets the out at first. Swing and a miss. That'll be your Frank Mason strikeout number 4 here for Colton Summers. With the pitch. Jones with a hit. Out to left field. Foul territory, but dropping Rigby. Sends this one for a ride.
Well, that should be extra bases. Oh, it gets over.
Left field, there's our home run. Shot from Marble, and Zollinger able to get the out.
Yeah.
Chopper. Out there. Hesitation on the throwback. 1-2 popped up, and that wind just stops that ball.
Yeah. It's another one that probably.
Smoke count tied. Sent all the way out to center right.
I thought we played well. We made some adjustments early in the game and did some things on a cold day. We pitched it really well. Colton threw it really well and played some really good defense and got some timely hitting on the backside of that.
So as we're going through trying to get a player of the game, we are looking through just about everybody did their jobs, did a lot of really great things today. Tell us about that camaraderie and the chemistry.
I think our guys are they're really close. They do a lot of things together outside of baseball. It brings them really close together. And we talk about being a bear ball family at baseball. And they're really buying into, it doesn't matter who's getting the accolades or the credit. As long as we're going out and playing and having fun, that'll take care of themselves.
And then you guys were able to get it done in 5 on this cold day. How did that feel to be able to have your guys be able to win in that fashion?
It's good to score that many runs, capitalize on some mistakes that they made, and it's always nice to get out with a W, whether it's in 5 innings or 7. It's always nice to have a win and continue to get better.
And then tomorrow you guys travel to Cottonwood. Just tell us how that you anticipate being on the road again and what we can expect there.
It's our first trip since St. George, since we've been back. Cottonwood's a very well-coached team, traditionally been very good, always kind of right there at the end of the year. And so, looking for a really good battle. Should go back and forth a little bit, and hopefully we can continue to get better and continue this momentum into region play next week.
Really strong pitching today. I think we counted you had 4 strikeouts. And then just tell me about the team you had behind you.
They just played really good defense around me. I know I could just throw the ball and just let them hit it, and they'd be there for me.
Chournos mentioned that this year you're kind of in the outfield, maybe not your favorite position. How did it feel to be on the mound again?
It felt really good coming in and just behind a good defense, Yeah.
And then what can we expect from you guys as the season progresses in your mind?
Our defense is going to get a lot better. Our offense is stepping up and doing what we usually do. And, yeah, we're going to be really hard to beat.
First of all, who do you have with you?
So this is Harper, named after Bryce Harper. I chose the name. It goes pretty well.
And so you're going to be our grill player of the game today for your efforts. Really solid all around, some really good outs and everything. But the thing that surprised me and was really great was the hit out there. He bobbled it, and then you are on third before anyone knew it. Tell me about that.
So I just seen the ball, he kind of dove for it, went past him, and I was only planning on going 2, but I just had so much momentum that I just sent it to 3, even though coach was telling me to stop. I just had so much momentum, I just sent it.
And so, again, just kind of tell me about your guys' play, because you are going to be our player of the game today, but really so many deserving players. You guys are playing fantastic so far. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we just have a really good team chemistry going right now. All our pitchers are doing great. Defense is playing really great. Our bats are starting to step up after the last games. We haven't hit our best like we usually do, but we're trying to step up, and we're doing a good job of it, and it's just going to keep rolling.
So what do you guys do to plan to not only improve but to continue good momentum as well as the season progresses?
Just pregame routines. Our pregame routines are really well. We always hit before our games. We always get super dialed before games, so when we get in the box, we're always ready.
Wilson with another delivery, and there's a Frank Mascadoo strikeout. Line right back over here to the shortstop. Gathers it up, throw off the mark, and we'll start with 1-1 delivery. This one poked out here, gonna stay fair. That's going to score both runners in. Douglas gets down. A 2 RBI double. Bella Douglas. Swing and a miss. A steal coming at you. Safe. There's a new core stealer for Connie Archibald. And then center right back over here to second. They'll get the out of first. Thomas makes her way over. Popped up high, Douglas back and puts him away. Strand. Jason with another pitch. This one lined into the gap.
Great shot.
Score a run, and 2 runs come in here for Bear River. Oh, gets back in time. Lucy Roach getting 2.
Shot it down third baseline.
Pops this one into the gap. It's going to drop. Left center, all the way to the fence. Runners going around.
That'll score 2 as well.
Douglas will hold up on second. Good find that gap.
Oh.
Douglas gets back. Runners on the corners. And there's your Frank Mascadoo strikeout. Second one. gets straightened out. Right over to third. Attack will be made at home. Trout gets her. Swinging to that one as it rises up and over the bat. Frank made
8, Oakley Derrickson.
and a quick one up, one out. That one's in there for a strike, and that'll be a Frank Mays strikeout on a payoff. Now 2 outs. There's another pitch, another swing and a miss, and there's a back-to-back. Frank and another pitch. Roach sends it out to center again. This time over the mid. Wilson with another delivery. Another Frank Mays strike. Pitch. And a Frank Mays strikeout. And sends this one out to left center, right center. Gets it to drop. Pitch. Town sends it back the other way. Gonna be fair. Gonna score a run. 2
Excellent.
runs. So the ball gets back in. You've got Cadfield on the third. Poke out to right field. Ikea down. Scores 2 more runs. Try, keeps it down low. Score a run. Gonna score 2. Bounces in. Ikea Town does not score. He's held up on third. Jay-Z with a pitch. Bella. Slide back down over to second. Opportunity for double play, but throw off the mark. A runner will score off of that error. Hammonds with the first pitch. Head up high. Get ready to catch this one as it's right in front of the camera. Taking it out of the fence. Bella will score here for Bear River and a stand-up double RBI. A strike here from Harrell. And there's a Frank Mays strikeout number 3. We'll roll it back over to Arrow, over to first.
Looks a little high. But over to Harrow, makes a quick throw to first.
Next week on Talk of the Town, we'll have more excellent features just in time for Easter.